Hi and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to carry on with our barbecue series on the Caveman Kamado. So today I'm going to show you how to cook pulled pork. Let's do it. Okay, so today I've got a Swift Prok Butt. Now I picked this up from Farm Foods. Not got one of these before, but I've heard good things about it, so it'd be nice to see what it's actually like. It's 3.4 kilos, so effectively 3.5 kilos, and this will feed an awful lot of people. So pulled pork is so good for that, in that you can keep a lot of people very happy. And when I've put this before, I've added it to burgers. You know, I normally put it on the side, like if I'm doing like brisket, I'm doing sausage, I'm doing ribs, I'll put pulled pork there as well. And people absolutely love it. It's really, really nice thing to do. You haven't tried it, but most people probably have, but it is really nice and definitely worth doing. So this is a boneless pork butt. So pork butt obviously comes from the shoulder, and obviously you normally have the shoulder blade and the bone in there. Where they've taken this one out, so you can see there, the bone would have gone in there. So obviously they've cut that bone out, but you've got all this meat that's kind of like flapping around, not really knowing what to do. So the first thing I want to do is just truss it, but I am just going to truss this area. I don't need to truss the rest of it. That's fine. So just getting some butcher's twine. And I always take out more than I need. There's nothing worse than getting halfway through trying to truss something out and you run out of string. Flip this over. Now, I am no means a butcher. I'm sure there's any butchers watching this thinking what you're doing, but it works for me. So as long as it works for you, happy days. There's that one. And then what I'm going to do is come this way, pull it this way, so it's going to pull it in, flip it over, and tie that. That's good enough. That's going to hold that roughly in place. So it is going to move around, but hopefully that'll be all right. And also I'm going to put the meter probe in there, and that just help pin it as well. But at the end of the day, that's going to keep it roughly in the same shape and therefore try and help the evenness of the cook. But to season, we're going to keep it really, really nice and simple. So we're using French's mustard as a binder. This isn't that tacky. It's only been out for a little while, so it's not massively tacky. So I'm going to use this as a binder. And it's really simple. Just literally put it on. Don't put it too thick. I found that if you put it on too thick, it clumps and then it can fall off. And we don't want that. The whole point of it really is keeping that rub on. Just try and get a nice coverage. Just to help that seasoning stick. There you go, nice and simple. So for the rub, I'm going to use Chud's. I'm going to use his sweet cheek. I did this on some ribs the other day and it was actually really nice. So I'm going to carry on using it. Whatever rub you like to use, do it. You can just use salt and pepper if you want. Keep it nice and simple. But I like with pork, I like that sweetness. So it's really good just buy a pre-made rub. And because this is a very, very big cut of meat, I'm going to apply it really liberally. We are going to add some more rub later on in the cook, but for the time being, you can put a decent amount on there and not worry about it too much. I'm going to let this sit out for the next probably 30 minutes. And while it sits out and that rub starts to adhere, let's get the Kamado set up and the fire going. So you can see I've left in here the charcoal from the previous cook. Now, in terms of wood, today we're using oak. So I'm going to use 3 bits. Because this is going to be like a 6 to 8 hour cook, I want one in the middle, one over here, and I'm going to put one there as well. So today we're using the Caveman charcoal. I have to say I've been really impressed with this. The size of the lumps of charcoal is massive. It burns really nice and cleanly. There's no odours, no aftertaste, no It's just a really nice, high quality charcoal. I mean, that's what you call a lump. I mean, we're getting towards the end of the bag and I'm still getting like charcoal that sort of size. It's crazy. Okay, so time to light this. Now, I've got a grill gun, but you haven't got a grill gun. Just put a couple of firelighters in the middle, light them, give them time to catch, and then you can close the next vent down. But with a grill gun, it's literally going to take a minute to light this. So it's nice and easy to use. So that's nice and lit. You can see you've got the whites of the charcoal down the bottom. Got some nice little flames. Now let's leave this lid open for about 5 minutes. Make sure this is really nice and cool, and then we'll shut it down. So this is nice and cool now. So what I want to do is just put things back in. Okay, so now the lid's closed, the vent is wide open, so it's the bottom one. We want that maximum airflow in it to get that fire nice and lit and encourage the ceramic to heat up. Because remembering with a Kamado, that's your main source of cooking. It's not the charcoal down the bottom necessarily, it's the fact that all the heat soaks into the ceramic and then it's that radiant heat that comes down and cooks your food. Now, I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that's Original Caveman Kamado, and they've sent me this awesome Barbarian, which is the largest in their range. Now, you guys will know I'm pretty picky when it comes to my barbecue gear. There is a lot of stuff out there that looks really good online, but when you just doesn't deliver. When you start cooking it, you realize it's just not that good. But honestly, this thing has seriously impressed me. Now, I've been cooking on it a while, and the first thing I notice is just how solid it is and how well built it feels. Everything from the ceramic to the fitting feels really premium. It's really heavy duty and designed properly for real outdoor cooking in mind. Another thing that I really love about it is just how versatile it is. You can run it low and slow if you're cooking briskets, ribs, pork butts, whatever, or you can absolutely hammer it if you're doing burgers, steaks, or you get a pizza sewn for it or a rotisserie. It's even more versatile. Now, once you've got the temperature dialed in, it's incredibly stable, really easy to control, and it makes cooking a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable. Now, the cooking space on it is, again, really impressive. So you've got 26 inches of cook space. So there's loads of room to cook on it for family, friends, or if you're like me, I just cook far too much food for absolutely no reason. Now, another thing I genuinely appreciate about Original Caveman, and that is that they seem to really focus on value and the customer. You are getting a serious, capable Kamado here without needing to spend an absolute crazy amount of money. And when it comes to spare parts, again, they're reasonably priced, and that's really important when it comes to long-term ownership. So if you're thinking about getting a Kamado or upgrading your current setup, I would definitely recommend checking them out. I'll leave all the links down below in the description. I really want to say a massive thanks to Original Caveman for sponsoring today's video and sending over this awesome bit of kit. So this is now up to temperature. So I'm going to close the vent down to a finger. And the same goes to the bottom vent. So I'm going to let this stabilize, make sure it's at 135 degrees, which is where we want it. And then we're going to add the pork butt. I don't know why, but I really like it. Must be a hugger or something. Because I really like it. It's just nice. And it's really warm. It's good. Like it. Okay, so the Kamado is all nice and dialed in now. It's bang on where we want it. And I've let it sit there for about 10 minutes. So I'm quite happy with this. So I'm going to put it slap bang in the middle. Okay, so now our meat's on. The temperature will drop a little bit because you just put a huge cold whack of meat in there, but it won't take long to recover. And it's sitting at that 275, and we are going to let it rock there for the entirety of the cook. Now, I will check on this in about an hour just to make sure it's quite happy, but I don't expect it to, change much. Okay, so it's been an hour. And as you can see from this, nothing's really changed. So you can see it's starting to sweat a little bit. That rub's starting to adhere, do its job. But here you can see nothing's really changed. It's quite happy. So I'm going to leave this in here. I'm just going to let it carry on. So there's not a lot for us to do with this until it reaches an internal temperature of about 75 degrees or about 165 degrees Fahrenheit. At that point, I will bring you back and then show you the next steps on this cook. Okay, so we're at the 2.5 hour mark. Temperature is holding absolutely rock solid. Really nice. I love this thing, but just keeping that temperature makes life so much easier. And I thought I'd show you what it looks like So if you're worried about your own cook, then you can just check and like reference it. But let's have a look. Now look at that. So we've got some beautiful colour forming on the top. And this is one of the reasons why I keep the fat cap on, because you've got that radiant heat coming down from the dome. That fat just protects it a bit and also keeps it all moist and beautiful. Now you can see here we've got lots of nice render. The fat's starting to cook through. What's the temp like? Stick it right in the middle. So about 100. So you're talking around 50 degrees at the moment. So obviously we're way off where we need to be, which is absolutely fine. We're only 2.5 hours into the cook. But that just shows you kind of what I'm looking for. Nothing's catching. Everything's looking really nice. And like where you got these little bits here, I love those because when you like break all the bit of meats up, just gives it a little bit of texture and those some like crunchy bits. I mean, that's not burning at all, really. It's not catchy. It's not enough that I would spray it, but it's worth keeping an eye on it. But this is what it's currently looking like, and I think you agree, looking amazing. So let's shut the dome down and let's carry on cooking. Okay, we are at the 4.5 hour mark. Oh, look at that. That looks good. Okay, so temperature-wise, we're at 80, 79, and down the bottom, 73. So this is basically ready to wrap. We've got tons of smoke on here now. It's got beautiful colour. This fat, as you can see, I mean, look at that. That is just rendered beautifully. You can see here, all that fat, nice and soft, got beautiful caramelization on that. That's exactly where you want. So let's take this over to the board and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So I've transferred the pulled butt into a 4 tray. So now we're going to add loads of different things to help braise it and then add loads of flavour into it. So that when we pull this, when we mix it all up, it's going to be absolutely amazing. So the first thing that I do, I like a sweet pulled pork. That's just the way I learn. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a good amount of apple juice. Now, this is going to stall the cook a little bit because obviously we're adding a load of cold back into here. Next thing I'm going to do is add some apple cider vinegar. Now, the reason I'm putting that in is because when that starts to evaporate, that helps tenderize everything. So that's really good. And it adds a nice little tang to it as well. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just in the actual apple juice itself, put a load more of that rub. Again, when it comes to being completely cooked, and we're going to mix all this through, all this, plus all the other juices that come out the actual pork butt, going to mix in, and that's going to make it really moist, really succulent. Oh, can't wait. Right, last thing you need to do is put some tinfoil over it. So I'm going to carry on running at 135 degrees. If you wanted to, at this point, you could bump the temperature a little bit to kind of like speed up the cook. Putting it in tinfoil and doubling it as well. So we've got 2 layers of tinfoil. Will speed up the cook anyway. It's going to slow a little bit. We just put loads of those cold liquid in, as already said. But actually, this should come up to temperature pretty quickly. And then we're going for a finishing temperature of about 205. Now, with pulled pork, that's a really good guide. The other thing we're going to do is probe it loads of times, make sure it's nice and soft. That'll tell us it's done. But let's stick this back on the Kamado, and I'll bring you back when it's done. So temperature wise, we're about 95. More importantly, that is going really nice and softly. So this tells me this is ready to come off and it's time to rest. So I've let this rest for about an hour now. So in total it was about 6.5 hours on the Caveman Kamado, and then I've let it rest for about an hour. Just let those juices redistribute. It 100% makes a big difference. It's definitely worth just waiting. You could, in theory, open it up, shred it. If you're adding tons and tons of liquid back in it, it'll probably be all right. But I just like to relax it. I always find the meat's a little bit more tender, so definitely worth doing. But I wrapped it up in a bit more tin foil. Breathe it in. It smells absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at that. Just to show you, I mean, look. That is what you call tender. I mean, this is a meter probe, not the thinnest thing. And look at them, I mean, look. That is how tender it is. So take this off. Now this should all be pretty much shreddable. Now the fat, I'm going to just take that off initially. Some people really, really like the fat. And in fact, you've got a nice bit of pork just under that layer of fat that's actually really gorgeous. So some people like this. Sometimes I crisp this up, but for the time being, I'm just going to put it to one side. And then all I'm going to do is take out any of these kind of like particularly fatty bits like that, because you don't want that. And then the rest of it, now look. I mean, that's nothing. Look at that. There's no resistance whatsoever. Beautiful. And then we've got all these juices in the bottom. And we're just going to mix those up. That would be amazing. And then look at this. It smells incredible. I mean, look at how soft this is. That's when you know you've done a good job. And this Caveman Kamado made it so simple. It's ridiculous. It really is so nice to cook on, I have to say. Right. So I've pretty much shredded that as much as I want. I quite like having like some bigger pieces in there. It gives a bit of bite, a bit more texture. And then all I'm going to do is get some barbecue sauce. Now this is Malcolm Reed's the barbecue rub. Really nice. Not overly sweet. Got a beautiful barbecue flavour in it. Nice bit of lot of heat at the back. Really enjoy this one. Now I'm just going to pour it in. There we go. Now, I love barbecue pulled pork. You could just eat this straight, let's face it. In fact, let's try a little bit. So this is just kind of like as it comes. Oh, that's so nice. Beautiful soft, got a lovely flavour. Now let's try a bit with the barbecue sauce on as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Well, look, there you go. Pulled pork. That was incredibly easy. The Caveman Kamado just makes life so easy, and this tastes amazing. So tender. As you can see, it's just falling apart. And that barbecue sauce is really nice. It works so well with this. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the old notifications so you don't miss any of the future videos in this series. I'm doing an entire series on the Caveman Kamado, doing all the classics. There's going to be beef ribs, there's a brisket on there, as well as pork ribs. I'm really thankful to Caveman Kamado for sending me this. It's an amazing bit of kit. Go and check them out. You won't regret it. But until next video, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.